Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Subaru WRX TS, and today we're gonna see what it's like to live with. Starting with the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the Subi parked a few inches in from the edge, sitting next to my mother-in-law's third generation Lexus RX, which is parked with about that same distance from the edge of the driveway, and that leaves ample room to walk between the vehicles, wheel a double stroller through for our kiddos, a wagon, even the trash cans on trash day. The front end of the Subi is hovering over the gutter at the front of my driveway, and that leaves tons of space at the back to walk in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. When first hopping in with the key fob in my pocket, just putting my hand on the front two door handles unlocks all four doors. And I'll wait until I'm parked next to someone in a parking lot to show you the real door opening space. For now, I'll just throw it open 2 notches, and with the nice large door openings, that's plenty of room to make it over the high side bolsters. And because the ride height of the WRX TS is not too low, getting in is a breeze. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the WRX TS. In this video, I want to see what the spiced up WRX is like in the real world, running errands, getting groceries, okay, and having some fun as well. All right, let's fire it up. All right, the 4-cylinder is on. Let's go listen to the idle from outside the car now. Some pops and burbles from the sports exhaust, and a deep rumble at idle, at least at cold start idle. It does settle down after a while, but this might disrupt the neighbors, at least those in the vicinity, immediate vicinity, when you're first warming up the car. And I do want to point out that I have some curb ramps set up here, at least to help the front left tire with the clearance issue of the gutter at the front of my driveway. But the WRX has enough ride height that unless you're just slamming it in at speed, completely straight on, you shouldn't have any scraping issues. The ramps just, I guess, allow you to do that. Before we roll out of here, let me show you where I would stick the items I bring with me every day. Like my smartphone, which is sitting on this pad. It is not a wireless charging pad. There is enough space next to it for my sunglasses to go. My 32-ounce water bottle actually fits inside the front of the 2 cup holders. You just have to press it down just a little bit for a snug hold. Inside the console, I've got my slim wallet, and then in the door pocket, I wasn't able to fit my GoPro accessory case, so I did have to shove those inside the glove box, but it is a large glove box. So I think the storage space inside this car is commendable. Now, let me throw on my seat belts, release the mechanical handbrake, head into first gear, and roll on forward, down into the gutter on the right-hand side. And I am going to clear my neighbor's basketball hoops easily. Ooh, the heater is working overtime. I already had to strip off my outer layer. It was just getting too warm. I also had the seat heaters going, and those are quite powerful. Now, one interesting omission, actually in any car where this is the case, is to have seat heating, but not steering wheel heating. You'd think in a winter weather situation, you'd want not just your butt to be warmed, but also your hands. And in fact, steering wheel heating is one of my favorite features, so not having it here is certainly a bummer. But I guess that's when you rely on the HVAC system to get you up to temperature. Let's talk about the around town ability of this WRX TS, starting with the manual transmission, which is the only gearbox offered for the TS. If you want a different trim, then you can get the CVT. I wouldn't. So instead, we've got the manual here. And this gearbox is a solid one. It's actually a very easy car to drive. The clutch is extremely forgiving on the engagement and release points. The gear lever is taller, so your hand is having to travel a fair distance between gears, and the linkage isn't all that tight. So there is just a little bit of play here as you're moving the gear selector, but there's a distinctive notch into each gear, so there's not a mystery as to whether you're in gear or not. All in all, I really enjoy daily driving the WRX with the manual transmission. And it's a good thing this car is so easy to drive, because with the gearing being as short as it is, you are having to shift quite often, even to get up to normal, like 40-mile-per-hour city speeds. In terms of the drive mode settings, I really wish there was some sort of physical button or dial to configure those things, but all that is done in the infotainment screen. So if you want to adjust things on the fly, you're gonna need this drive mode select menu prompted at all times, or you could just configure the individual mode as I've done. So I've got the throttle response set to sport because normal is a little too lax for me. I got the steering in comfort, suspension where you can configure the adaptive dampers that you get equipped to this TS. Around town, when you're going over potholes and undulating roads, you're gonna want them set to comfort, because in comfort, the ride is very livable. You absorb the blemishes. You get bopped around, of course. It's still a sports car, and you've got those 19-inch wheels with skinnier sidewall, but this is tolerable. In normal and especially in sport, the ride becomes downright rigid, and you're only going to want that in a performance context. I will say that it doesn't really matter what suspension setting you're in, you are going to hear the road noise in through to the cabin. This is not a super well insulated car. And so even at these lower speeds, you're aware of all that's going on around you. On the bright side, the brakes are very easy to modulate, so you can smoothly come up to a stop. And these Recaro Sport buckets are really very comfortable. The ergonomic shape holds me well in place, while the bolsters don't squeeze the life out of me from the sides. There's enough padding here to help absorb the road bumps, and the 8 ways of power adjustment are enough for me as the driver to have a comfortable seating position, along with the manual tilt and telescope of the steering wheel. Now, before I get coffee, let's go over the final daily driving details that are worth mentioning, like the turn signal sound, which is loud but not a frustrating tone. And now for the turning radius test. Wheel is fully cranked. And hey, for an all-wheel drive vehicle, that's not a bad turning circle. Now let's say someone is driving recklessly on the road and you need to get their attention right now, make them wise up, change their behavior. You're gonna use the horn. What are they going to hear? Oh. All right, that clown horn. They're gonna laugh at you. That's not what you wanted. What I do want is coffee. So I'm gonna stop in here at White Sparrow, and it does appear there is a parallel parking spot for me. So I'm gonna pull up on the ring, pull the gear selector over into reverse and down. That prompts a medium resolution backup camera. And I do have trajectory lines to help me over. Cut it on in. Bird's eye view would be helpful as well, but I do have the parking sensors to help out with proximity, and I can pull it on over easily enough. So, parallel parking in the WRX. No problem. Yeah. Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Can I take a picture?
For sure, dude.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good to meet you, Philip.
You too, Miles. Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, got the classic decaf latte here. Haters will say he can actually drink caffeine, but I can't. Just can't, okay? The cup holder is perfect sized behind my large water bottle to hold that coffee though. And now, we're moving on to errands. First stop, Trader Joe's. Just 2 bags from Trader Joe's and the egg shortage continues. So I'm gonna have to find another store for those. Let's take a peek at the trunk, which does come all the way up with a little bit of assistance from the fingers. And there don't appear to be any grocery bag clips or holders on the side. So I'm just gonna wedge these bags over and hope they stay together. There is plenty of room inside this trunk though. So let's go to grocery store number 2. Side note, never mentioned this, headroom. There's lots of it in the WRX for me at 6 feet tall. All right, store number 2 is Sprouts. 2 more bags. And now I really wish I had those grocery bag hooks to hold these. Otherwise, all the items are gonna slosh all over the trunk if I don't drive very, very carefully. But it does look like the WRX TS is grocery store approved with room for improvement. Yesterday, we diagnosed practicality and around-town ability. Today, we're focused on performance and commutability. Let me start with a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'll move into the Sport Plus drive mode and turn traction control off. Then I'll head into first gear, rev it out, get off the clutch, down into second, and I will have to upshift to third to get to 60 in 6.0 seconds. Shorter gearing, more fun, less fast. But stoplight drag races aren't really this car's forte. What you would be much better suited to doing is spending your after work hours or your weekend free time finding a twisty road like this, where the STI tuned adaptive dampers, now in their firmed up mode, can keep the body flat and allow you to make the most of this turbo boxer 4-cylinder with its 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. I love the pedal placement for heel-toe rev match downshifts. I like the steering feel here in the sport mode. Nice resistance as you add lock. The car is just raring to go. The bigger brakes with the TS are also scrubbing the speed before each new bend, and the all-wheel drive system is just so good. As the G-forces have built, I've been very grateful for these Recaro buckets keeping me in place. This is a great time. This car feels so much more capable than the standard WRX. Really just comes down to the brakes and the suspension. And as long as you are above 3,000 RPM, you've got plenty of boost. So in theory, you don't have to shift that much. It's just fun. Honestly, I don't have much else to say. Just enjoy this car. Find excuses to enjoy it. And make sure you get it to the right road. Or take it to the track, my goodness. It feels perfectly suited to those environments. Whee! It just wants to be run flat out. And it has all the grip to give you the confidence while doing so. Snack break. Good car. This Subi is certainly entertaining dynamically. And now on the highway, we're gonna spend a lot of your time. We need to see about things like passing power. So I'm gonna start here in 6th gear at about 60 miles per hour and see how quickly I can add on 15 miles per hour or so. So foot to the floor from 2,200 RPM. Yeah, you got nothing until you're at about 2,700. So you are gonna need to downshift to make a pass. Let's try that. Going into 4th. That's got the urgency I'm looking for. And you may even need to go down into 3rd to get that ultimate push from the Boxer motor. And when you've found your cruising speed, if you want to quiet up and listen to the cabin volume, on 2 different road surfaces there. Yeah, I did mention around town that there was a lot of road noise heard inside this cabin, and here on the highway you have the additional noise of wind resistance. And especially on those louder road surfaces, you're going to have to jack up your voice volume for anyone in the second row to hear you, and possibly even a little bit for the passenger right next to you. This isn't awful, but it is fairly loud. So if you are commuting or road tripping on the highway, you will be looking for some relief from the sound system. And this car has a Harman Kardon system as standard, and we're going to access that via the wireless Apple CarPlay. The screen does have a little bit of lag to it. It's not terrible. My problem with it is actually how much glare you get from the sun. It's a completely flush surface, and this little lip above doesn't really protect the whole 11.6 inches from that glare. And turn up the volume via the physical dial. Glad this is here. Let's go to about what looks to be maybe 65%, 70. Solid acoustic profile. When the bass came in, it certainly reverberated throughout the cabin. I heard some vibration of the speaker covers. The mids and highs were well enough defined. I think I'd be very happy with this on the day-to-day. The WRX also has a nice set of driving assistance features like adaptive cruise control, which I've now set, and steering assistance. It's not hands-free, but I'm just taking my hands off for a sec to show you how it will stay in the center of the lane even on a curve. And the steering assistance is great at really any speed if you're slightly distracted, just keeping you in your lane. But adaptive cruise control for a manual transmission car is really only of benefit when you've got momentum like this, because yeah, maybe it'll slow down slightly to maintain the gap to the vehicle in front of you, but if you're in heavy traffic, you're having to shift gears all the time anyway, so it's not exactly reducing the fatigue of that commute. Though I will say, because of the lighter clutch pedal, even in traffic, this car is not taxing to commute in. And I have to praise the outward visibility. Out the front, the sides, the back, you can see just about everything. And the small blind spot at the C-pillar is taken care of by blind spot monitoring. I am hungry for lunch. So I'm gonna pop in here to Flower Child. They've got really good bowls, okay? Got my food and, oh yeah. I forgot, every time I see this car from the back end, I'm reminded of this unfortunate design decision. At least I can't see it while driving. That's a plus. Now that I've finished complaining about the back end of the Subi, let's talk about the back seats with Mobile Mama. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I've already noticed a problem back here.
I'm hitting.
My head's on the roof.
Yes.
Your beanie is also on the roof.
Yeah.
But you can actually make it back to the headrest.
I can.
I can't. So
okay.
if you're 6 feet tall, this is probably not going to work for you. You've got plenty of leg room though. That's nice. And the seat back is in leather. The foot pockets are nice and large. I've got thigh support. I keep hitting my head on the pillar here.
I'm noticing another issue.
The blank switches. Features we don't actually have.
Well, yeah, but something else. Very important for me.
Vents. We are missing vents from the center. You will get airflow from under the seat.
That's not enough.
But it's, yeah, if you've got kids in car seats, it's not great.
And you're going to be hot.
We have 2 USB ports, A and C. That's good. And one-touch windows in the back, down and up. Fancy us. Fake carbon fiber, not my favorite. I do love the suede and the blue accents. The blue leather is really fun.
That is cool.
Armrest, nice padding, little cup holder deal.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so it's some hits
And some
and
misses.
some misses back here. All right, misses. Let's go see the front. All right, up front, what do you think of the seats?
I like that I'm fully extended.
Yeah, we don't yet have a car
Do you
seat
want a
behind
better
you though.
back angle?
Oh, manual adjustment for the passenger.
Oh, you-
I have power.
Of course you do.
I've got the power. Which actually, I'm usually fine with manual seats for the driver's seat, but in this case, having just that perfect little adjustment for the clutch engagement level
really
and
nice.
all that is really nice. So yeah, you've got manual, sorry.
The seat, like these bolsters are firm. Like they definitely hug you in place, like really tight. If you have hips, you don't really have hips.
Oh, I don't really have hips.
You're not a woman.
That's the difference. That's why we bring you along, because you are a woman.
Yeah.
We've got 2 USB ports here and an aux jack. Still using those. 2025. I'm surprised there's not a tape deck down there.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, you are young. I like the suede up on the dashboard with the blue contrast stitching. It's very race car-esque. And all the blue, the pops.
Yeah, it's bright, it's vibrant.
Yes, it's part of what you're paying for, that little extra.
How much are we paying for this?
$47,000.
Okay, so we won't be paying for this.
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit too much. Maybe lower to lower mid 40s, 47s. It's a lot. I mean, you're paying mostly for performance, and then the little accents are little cherry on top, but it's pricey. Let's see about car seats. Starting off on a positive note, doors open nice and wide, making it easy to get the car seat inside.
Well, you're just starting.
You like that pun?
I'm already finished.
Oh.
So.
Was the pun good though?
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Oh, darn it. All right, simple install. Talia's gonna have legroom here. The tether was easily accessible. Everything good for you?
Latch were accessible.
Okay, all right, let's
good.
see about your legroom up front. I didn't move my seat, so I know I'm good.
I hardly moved my seat. So.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay, we can say it. Subaru WRX TS is family approved. Now it's time to refuel this 16.6 gallon tank, and the EPA rates the WRX TS at 19 mpg in the city, 26 on the highway, and 22 combined. If I achieved that 22 combined, then I'd have a fuel range of 365 miles. But during my time with the car, which admittedly has been a lot of enthusiastic driving, I've averaged just 16.6 miles per gallon. And at current fuel prices of $5.19 for 91 octane gas that the TS does require, it's gonna cost me 86 bucks to fill this tank, and there isn't capless fueling, so I have to work just a little bit harder. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what the spiced up Subaru WRX TS with a manual would be like in the real world. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I need to properly praise this car's livability. From the ride compliance and comfort mode to the excellent visibility, the seat comfort, the spacious trunk, and the easy to use manual gearbox. It all makes this car a terrific daily driver. However, if you are taller, the back seats won't offer enough headroom. Road noise is pronounced, and for $47,000 as tested, there are some missing features like a heated steering wheel and rear seat air vents. Even when you aren't using the WRX TS in the proper curvy road setting, which you should do often, then the time spent in between will be pleasant as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time